Hey, we're back with Katawa Shoujo, and here it is. We're back. Oh, here's Hanako's part. Hanako. Now, we have to. It sort of pains me to do this. We have to choose another girl, and I still don't know who yet. Hmm. Let's load. Let's go to our loads, because thankfully we saved every single decision, so we could really just go off that. But I know where all the important decisions are. Um, let's see. Let's go to SIP part 2. There's gotta be something to do that can kill some time. I... Here's Hanako's path. This is Hanako's path. Okay? And this is the part where I said, I think, should I go for the person that I went with first on my first playthrough of this? And that was Hanako. And still, let's go for Lily. Following Hanako to the library seems a bit intrusive. There's a reason she left the classroom after all. And that aside, oh please, I do want to catch up with Lily at the very least. I'd like to thank her for looking out for me despite her other obvious taxing duties. I guess I'll walk around town. With any luck, I should be able to find Lily. The exercise will do me so good as well. Oh, walking through the school courtyard to the gate, I give a small nod to a couple of passing classmates, the gesture being returned in kind. Even from here, the shouts of the sports club members can be heard. From the sheer volume of the din, the track must be packed right now. I remember what Lily said yesterday about being dropped right into the middle of a busy time for the school. While I'm trying to get my bearings and catch up on the study that I've missed, everyone else is doing some normal school activities. A feeling of being a foreigner is still hasn't dissipated. At least, not yet. Well, I guess not everything is bad. This is a private school and that much is easily noticed when walking around outside. Not only are the school grounds huge, but the buildings themselves are accumulate and quite divorced from the time a dozen concrete blocks of public school. There's also the fact that there are much stronger feelings of community here, or at least friendlier atmosphere. At my old school, it was generally accepted that people would keep to their little clique and be done with it. Eventually I reached the gates and begin to walk down the road and into town. Well, that was fairly productive. Having seen a fair portion of the town, even including the houses perched on the hills around the outskirts, I decided to take a walk around the park before heading back. Living in the city all my life, the total lack of smartly dressed businessmen and fashionably dressed girls strike me as incredibly unusual. All that's to be seen are the odd elderly people shuffling along the sidewalk and assorted busily chatting pairs of middle-aged women outside the smallest storefronts. Walking along the road to the park quickly distracts me from them, though making me realize that I perhaps pushed myself further than I should have done to see as much as I could. As my breath begins to wheeze, my chest tightens more and more. I give up on the prospect of soldiering on. After a quick glance around the park as I enter, I take a seat on a wobbly old bench that I notice near a couple of vending machines. Oh, is this... Oh, no, is this the area? Is this... Is this like the last part of Anaka's route? That, oh, for a moment on end, I sit my head bent over, forcing myself to take deep breaths. I feel like more of an old man than a teenager who should be in the prime of his life. The stay in hospital, the surgery, and the medications must be taking their toll on me. Damn it. Eventually my breathing returns to normal and the muscles of my chest loosen, not without a fair measure of relief. I guess this means an end of a little sojourn, though in any case. There's a cafe on the far corner, so I'll stop by to quench my thirst before heading back. Oh my god. The little bell above the door signals my arrival to an empty counter. For a few moments I stand there, waiting, my eyes every now and again drifting from one end to the counter to the other, searching for a service bell. Look, it's Yuko. Eventually a door some ways behind the counter opens and a person emerging from it, taking me by complete surprise. Yuko? Hi, I had no idea you worked here. I really had no idea how to address her either, given that she's technically school staff, as well as apparently a waitress. Yes, She quickly paces up to the counter before flinging her upper half downwards in an overacted bow. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? Straight down to business, I see. I don't know. Well, some coffee, please? Yes, certainly. I'll take it right away and bring it to you when it's done. Thanks. Yuko's formality takes me aback. She seems to take her job very seriously. You're also still, caffeine addict. You know, drinking coffee all the time. Obeying her instructions, I turn around and quickly glance around for a free table. Considering the cafe seems to be empty, this is a simple task to accomplish. As I walk towards the table adjacent to the window, I notice a flash of yellow around one of the table dividers. Sure enough, more than a glance is needed to ascertain that it's a towel. What? Okay, whatever. That said, I don't recognize the suited figure across the table from her. Blonde, fair-skinned, and only a little shorter. She? I think she must be a relative. Since the two of them all but silent as a suited figure takes a swig from the cup of coffee, I decide to greet Lily. Some part of my coming here was in order to meet her after all. Hi, Lily. This Al? Yeah, nice to see you again. The seated girl looks up, noting my uniform with a relaxed smile. I gotta admit, I like her eyes. Know each other? I still don't know her voice. I guess. It's as good an approximation of our relationship as I can think of. Care to take a seat? She says this to the air beside me, but the message is clear enough, and I take a seat beside her. I suppose some introduction might be in order. Hisao, this is Akira Satao, my older sister. Akira, this is Hisao Nakai, another Yamaku student. Looks like my guess was correct. The newly introduced Akira gives a nod, which I return. What I don't return, however, is an almost analytical gaze with which she looks me over. As she does so, Yuko walks up to the table, carefully places a coffee on the table before bowing and taking her leave. Gently bringing my hand to the side of the cup, I realize that it's already at just the right temperature to drink. After taking a sip, the flavor turns out to be just as good as the temperature. Yuko seems a lot better at this than being a librarian. Huh. It takes mere seconds for Akira's examination to come to an end. Apparently becoming quite bored with the activity, she turns to her sister. "Well, out of school recently." Seems Akira is entirely unconcerned with someone she doesn't know at all, listening to everything they say. Not that I mind leaving them to their chatting. I sit back and continue the drinking of pleasantly aromatic coffee. Sounds like it's pretty busy for you, then. At least I'm not cooking your meals after school anymore. As they talk, I slowly realize that I'm entirely unable to gauge Lily's emotion through her eyes, as I would for any other person. It becomes slightly unsettling as I subconsciously focus on that fact. Whoa, so cold. Weren't you just cooking for yourself anyway? I only ever got leftovers. That's not the point. Are you managing to feed yourself, at least? I can cook without blowing myself up, you know. Mostly. That's... It's fine, it's fine. I needed to learn sometime anyway. Ah, Lily. Everyone present momentarily distracted by Yuko, who places a cup of tea on the table for Lily. Taking a moment to glance at her watch, Akira levers herself off the seat and gives me a quick nod. Well, I'd better be off. It was nice talking to you, Lily. Akira, do you have to? Lily looks genuinely mournful at her sister suddenly leaving. It does seem like she might have the wrong idea. Sorry, I need to get back to work. They'll be on my neck again if I don't make it back quickly. So informal. Akira's trim and tidy appearance would give anyone the wrong impression of her. Bye, Akira. Come on, don't look so down. I'll be around again soon. See yous. With that, she waltzes out of Shanghai with her hand held high. Lily still looks pretty impressed, so I try to make small talk in an effort to take her mind off it. She seems nice. We used to live together, but now that I live at school, we hardly ever see each other. Despite Lily having been quite affable, I still don't really know much about her. Well, in hindsight, it's surprising just how much she extracted from me, really. You used to live together. Was it somewhere around here? It was pretty far south, so the trip to Yamaku was fairly long. With her working hours getting longer and Yamaku being so far away, there was little choice in the end but to move into the dormitories. Well, that explains the chatter about cooking. Evidently regaining her composure, she livens back up, at least in part. I take it you're better rested now. Ooh, she noticed. Sorry? You sound less exhausted than you did when you first came in. To be able to pick out my breathing like that, she must have pretty good ears. Obviously, she's blind. Her other senses are better. Yeah, ended up walking all over town despite only planning on taking a short walk down here. Reminded me of my thirst from the walk. I leaned forward to take a sip. Without further ado, Lily starts on her cup a strong smelling tea. I guess I'd better get going back to Yamaku. There's only so long I can stall studying for, and I want to get a good night's sleep before the festival. Standing from the seat, I take the coffee-stained cup from the table. You are leaving? Yeah, you want to head back as well? It's getting kind of late. For a moment she paused, lifting her face over her teacup as if she was looking at me. Yuko, could we have one more coffee, please? Oh! Okay, I'll bring it right away. That's not subtle. She gives a short giggle at my frank assessment of her maneuver. It's surprisingly childish and carefree, given her otherwise collected appearance. In the end, though, I have little reason to refuse. To be honest, I can hardly say no, all things considered. God damn it. Giving a manufactured sigh, I take a seat opposite of her. Wanting company, then? I'd say that it's more than I was wondering. I see she's in questioning mode again. She doesn't seem to be unusually interested in me, or at least curious. Or she does. Do you have any siblings? Not exactly, an unexpected tangent. Nope, only child. To be honest, the idea of having someone that close makes me a bit envious. Interesting. I raise an eyebrow, which of course goes unseen. The short silence communicates the questions as well. It's just that the others have said the same things before. It's difficult to try and think about objectively given that I've always had someone like that. I can mostly understand what Lily means, given that it would be hard to place oneself outside of the situation that we've been in all their life. I have a little sister, but we're around, let's see, 12 years apart. She and her sister must have a pretty close relationship. Yeah, so, that was pretty much like the end of my childhood, really. Well, not really. Taking pains to interrupt us as little as possible, Yuko dutifully comes over and places a cup on the table. Lily thanks her as I sit back, taking in the vexing girl in front of me. Despite always seeming to be on her guard, in control of herself when talking to others, she was almost childlike in curiosity about other people. Botch that. That said, those rare moments she seems to slightly lower her guard are the most insightful into how she thinks. Reaching forward for my drink, I realized something I should have probably noticed earlier. I think I'm starting to become kind of curious about her. Despite making a good pace, it's already nightfall by the time I reach the large iron gates in front of the school. While it's nice to have plenty of time to wander around by virtue of living right next to the school, I can't help but get the feeling that a few students actually take the opportunity. Compared to the number of students I see milling around on campus during free time, it's startlingly rare to see anyone around town. Given the large number of accommodating faculties that the school offers, many of them might simply not see any point in venturing outside, let alone people such as Hanako and Kenji. It makes me wonder if students like Shizune, Micha, and Lily are exception for their school rather than the norm. As I wander back to my dorm room, I continue to compare my old school with Yamaku. As I do so, I begin to be surprised that I managed to get even this used to everything that happened to me. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window I can see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto the plates for people with a craving for low quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. And it'll probably be the same like with Hanako's route. Maybe. Finishing my morning routine, I exit the hallway intending to go out and find something to eat, but then all of a sudden Kenji comes out of nowhere. Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji is up to today, out of impulse. And boy, was that a mistake. I'm curious if he has any plans since everyone is doing something. And again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room, or possibly something like a fort, complete with a no girls allowed sign, and with the girls crossed out with body cruelly scrawled underneath it. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling clicking of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens up a crack. Who is it? You're supposed to ask for that before you open the door. Oh, it's you, damn. It's early. It's not really that early. What is it, man? Nothing, I was just gonna ask what you're gonna do today. Half the school is out there already. Out? Where? Why? What? What? It's today special? Why are they here? Why are they there? Who are? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has invasion begun? He suddenly looks more alarmed. What day is it, man? Yeah, I guess he can't see that big wooden booths outside and people selling stuff. What the hell are you talking about? I have my curtains closed at all times to thwart the snipers. It's the festival. You know that, right? Oh shit, that's today. Damn it. I can't believe I forgot. I don't have my fort finished yet. This is bad. It's gonna be a very bad day. It's good you told me this, man. This is gonna be a bad day. Why? Oh man, they're gonna be everywhere. The people outside my window socializing. Kenji rubs his temples nervously, looking very ill. They're gonna be loud as hell. Damn, and I was gonna go out today, but now it's ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run. Kenji seems nervous. You could even say he's majorly freaking out. Can't believe this. So that's what today was. Damn, I couldn't even prepare for it. I couldn't even brace myself, and now it's here, and I can't do anything. You should have told me earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but I could have known earlier. Imagine what I could have accomplished. Sorry, I thought you knew. So I guess you're not going to do anything today. The weather is even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be cold. It's not though, so there's no reason just to stay inside. Yeah, you should check out the festival out. Kenji groans and covers his face with his hands. Like, no, I can't do it. They'll eat me out alive out there. I know it. That has to be a joke. But he said it with such a straight face, relatively straight. What are you gonna do? We should hang out in here. You can help me build my fort. We might still make it if we work together. I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first and then check out the attractions. Your class project seemed pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it. So I want to see at least that one, and chat with Lily, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligations for the project? Are you out of your mind? The blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow. That's in the way of my great vision. I expect it from blind people. What? Besides, I thought you were also... He holds his hand up and to interrupt me. Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see farther than any man before me has seen. Kenji looked stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just a quarter wall 2 meters away from, but it's all the same. I can see the future of mankind, and it's dark one, unless the threat of women is still stifled. They are everywhere. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire. Then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm gonna have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out myself, so I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. Let's go to the festival. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from the stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school garden to watch people pass as I tentatively nibble away at the rather bland tasting item. Alright, so he did buy takoyaki. Remember that. He ate takoyaki. I guess I shouldn't complain. It's better than nothing and didn't cost much. As I look out towards the school, watching the people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing the time as I eat. Little children accompanied by parents and grandparents scamper around in a din from event to event, one hand dragging the company and the other bearing an oversized, colorful snack. I can't help but notice the age range among people who is skewed towards the elderly, something that I also noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where only people left are those that live here their whole lives and ardently refuse to leave, and those wanting to live out the rest of their days in one increasingly few tranquil places. I guess that also goes way to explaining how conservative Imaku's school culture seems to be. Oh, not that I mind one bit. I kind of like how calm Imaku and surroundings are. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting, now that the hottest part of the day is here. Better get moving about, yeah. The sound of carolling bells takes me completely by surprise as I stand up, a reaction shared by a few of the other people strolling around as well. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bell, and its age shows as the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement over it, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternately pained and bored grimaces of their young charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Nevertheless, the address finally ends. All are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic, applause, and then gets back to their business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glance around for something to do. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all the people around. I decide to fall back on a tried and trusted rule, where everyone seems to be gathering right now the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate into a trash can, I make my way towards the school building. See, the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprised me. Quite a few of the classes must have been opted to have multiple stalls. I decide to try and visit first, and in deciding to visit first, and I catch a sight of a familiar banner with a blue pattern border and red text. The only stall is a good place to start in any. I'm curious at how it's going, rather. After all, it's the work she and her class have been doing for it. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls, with equipment for cooking strewn everywhere. It's closer to an outdoor restaurant rather than a festival event. As a student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated and asks me to wait for a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere as pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who's probably their teacher of 3-2. It doesn't take long to notice Lily among them, talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packaged with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears that there's been some problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lily pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter, and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that. We're having a few problems. What would you like? It takes me a second to remember what I come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess some miso soup. Oh, is that Hisao? Yep. Looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress facade. Somewhere along the line, our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only had half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portions cover over the problem? It seems like that's what we'll have to do. Though, I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. I glanced behind her to see how many people are actually operating the stall. It couldn't be over 8. I take it that's why your teacher left. That's right, she's gonna try and round up a few more of her classmates to help. Hearing the sounds of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glanced backward to see an elderly couple taking a place in line. I guess I better stop loitering around and chattering. Here's the money for the soup. Soup? Oh, right. Coming right up. Lady turns to call for a bowl of miso soup as I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually satisfied that I've handed over the correct change, she puts it in a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after what she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks, I'll come back to drop the bowl. Thank you, Isao. Oh, there's one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? Not today. No, not today, why? She gives a small sigh in abject disappointment. I'm gonna be right back. Sorry this is abrupt, but yeah.